Hi, my name is Millie and welcome to The Performing Arts and Me. I'm a recent graduate from London Studio Centre, and in today's video I'm going to be reflecting on my third year musical, and I'm going to be talking about the audition process, the process of doing rehearsals and doing the show, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about what I learned and what I got out of doing my third year musical hall. With all that being said, let's get started. I just wanted to point out I am wearing my Witches of Eastwick hoodie. This is the Witches of Eastwick logo. I don't think it's a very well-known musical, so you might not know what the logo looks like, but this is it. And then it says Seed Time 2025 underneath it, Seed Time being the third year musical theatre company at London Studio Centre. Anyway, let's get on with the video. Okay, so firstly, the audition process for Witches of Eastwick. We did the auditions just after Easter. We had to prepare sides for the character that we wanted to audition for, and we had to bring a song. And then if you were auditioning for one of the witches, you also had to be prepared to sing a harmony section, because the witches, there are 3 of them, and they have like close harmonies, so they wanted to hear you sing harmony. I was auditioning for the role of Jennifer, who is not one of the witches, so I didn't have to prepare any harmony stuff. And I think the witches only sung the harmony stuff if they were recalled for the role of the witches. Some people did prepare material for one character and they auditioned for that, and then they were asked to go back in and audition for a different character. I auditioned for the role of Jennifer, but I didn't get Jennifer. I was cast as one of the members of the ensemble. My named characters in the ensemble were Marge/Raymond, Marge and Raymond, and I was also vocal captain, which wasn't something I was cast as. That was they said that they wanted a member of the ensemble for each cast to be vocal captain. So I was vocal captain for my cast, and our MD said, like, think about if you want that role. And then I think it was during our first music rehearsal, she asked who wanted to do vocal captain, and I volunteered, and I was given the role for my cast. Okay, moving on to the rehearsal and show process. I think we had a week of vocal only rehearsals to start with, and then we had maybe about 4 weeks where the director and choreographer was there and we were in the studios, and then we had 1 week at the theatre, which was our Sits Pro, Tech and Show week, which I did vlog, so if you want to watch that video I will leave it up in the cards. I'm gonna guess they're on this side. We will see. This is my right side as I'm sitting here filming. Anyway, we also ran some of our own rehearsals as students, which were led by the vocal and dance captains. So to start with, there weren't dance captains, so us vocal captains ran some vocal rehearsals. I think we ran them together to start with, and then after the dance captains had been allocated, we kind of split more into our 2 casts. So the dance captain for our cast would say, oh, I want to rehearse this stuff, and I would say, yeah, I want to rehearse this stuff, and then between the 2 of us we'd work out when we wanted to schedule the rehearsal and how much time each of us wanted for each thing, and we'd run the rehearsal. So we did our own rehearsals outside of the rehearsals that we were doing with the director and choreographer and MD. We also had a couple of vocal rehearsals with the MD during those 4 weeks where we had the director and choreographer around, but most of the vocal rehearsal was done in the first week. And then obviously the MD was in for some of the rehearsals with the director and choreographer, and she would be giving notes during that, but most of the teaching of the vocals was done in the first week of rehearsals. So we did some runs of the show in the studio, and then we did the tech week that I mentioned. So we had Sits Probe, tech rehearsals, a dress run, which was an open dress, so that the second year MTs could come and watch and see kind of what they might be doing next year. And then we had our 2 shows per cast. A couple of people were in both casts, but most people just did 2 shows. During most of the rehearsals that were runs of the shows, I had the extra responsibility of giving vocal notes to the other cast, because the director obviously was writing down notes, but the MD was playing keys, so she couldn't write down notes because she was playing keys. So she asked for the vocal captains to come and like sit with her so she could give notes to us to write down, and we could also write down notes that we thought of during the studio runs. And then I also did notes for music and vocal things for the dress run of the other cast. Okay, so in terms of what I got out of doing the show and what I learned, doing the music assistant / vocal captain role, I feel like helped me see that maybe I would be interested in doing something like assistant musical director or musical director in the future. And that's not something I would necessarily have thought about until I did this show and did this role on this show. So that was really cool, and something I definitely got out of it, and is definitely something that I'm looking into as a result of doing this show and as a result of working with our musical director. Also getting like that little bit of insight into what the musical director was doing as part of her role, and I had some chats with her during rehearsals and also after we did the show about musical directing, and it's definitely something I would be interested in doing. So I'm very grateful to her for answering some of my questions about musical directing. I'm so glad that I was cast in the ensemble and therefore could do the vocal captain role, because I wouldn't necessarily have considered musical directing had I not done the vocal captain role. So yeah, that was something really cool that I got out of doing Witches of Eastwick. Moving on to a couple of other things I learned. I learned more about how a professional production is created and how a rehearsal room is run. Because obviously I've been in rehearsal rooms for things before, but I've never been in anything of that scale. So I learned a bit more about what a stage manager does. I learned from watching the director how they work with a cast, which is also something I'm interested in doing, directing or assistant directing. So it was nice to get to watch how a professional rehearsal room should be run. I also learned how important it is to keep going to classes and keep training and conditioning whilst you're in a show, because I went to a few LSC open dance classes which they run for primarily for the first and second years, but if we had gaps in rehearsals sometimes I would go to one of these classes and I just wasn't as on it as I had been previously. Like, I think mentally, because I struggle with picking up choreography, I was like not in the right mindset of, oh, I need to pick up choreography. And also potentially in terms of like strength and power of movement, I think I was potentially lacking a bit, because there was choreography in the show but I was only doing that choreography. I wasn't doing like a broader range of choreography, and so I think I just kind of got out of practice of that. So I understood more the importance of going to open classes and training alongside doing a show. Something else I got out of it was just the joy of performing. When we did the dress run I kind of didn't feel it. I don't know if I was maybe just focused so much on doing our first full run of the show, but yeah, I didn't feel, you probably know what I'm talking about, but that feeling you get when you're performing, I didn't get that in the dress run, but then I did the first show and I got it, and it just reminded me how much I love performing. So that was a great thing to get out of it. And then finally I made better friends with the people in my year group, which was really nice, and I really appreciated that aspect of doing the show. Okay, so that is everything that I wanted to say in this video. There might be more things that I could talk about, but I don't want to chat for ages. If you have any questions though, please do leave them in the comments and I will try and get back to you. So I just wanted to say before I finish this video, a huge thank you to everyone who was involved in Witches of Eastwick. I learned so much, I got so much out of it, I loved doing the show, so thank you all very much. If you've enjoyed the video, please subscribe. I would love to have you as a subscriber, and thank you very much for watching. Bye!